Have you ever known about washing your karma away forever? Indeed, these lottery champs did exactly that. Straightforwardly, stay close by as we dove into these unimaginable stories. Number 10. Washing $330,000 away for good. Angela Myers, matured 63, was excited when she scored huge in Germany's public sweepstakes. She celebrated with 5 jugs of champagne, feeling like she was large and in charge. Yet her bliss immediately went to outrage when she got a bill from the consideration home where her late spouse had been taken care of. The consideration home requested installment for her better half's clinical costs, realizing about her new lottery win. Irate and in a smashed fury, Angela destroyed each of the 800 of the 500 euros notes she had, which she had taken in real money in the wake of winning the bonanza. She then, at that point, professed to have washed the destroyed monetary orders away forever to guarantee the consideration home wouldn't get their hands on them in court. Angela contended that obliterating the cash wasn't unlawful. However, the court required a specialist to decide whether she was coming clean. The consideration home acknowledged it did not merit the difficulty and dropped the case after Angela consented to pay $4,000 in remuneration. Angela's story is only one illustration of how lottery champs once in a while pursue surprising decisions with their rewards. Peter Charlton, a lottery champ in Australia, gave his whole $500,000 big stake to help those battling during coronavirus lockdowns, procuring him the title of nearby legend. Frances Connolly, one more lottery champ, shared her dependence on giving in the wake of giving portion of her £115 million to family, companions, and noble cause. She tracks down bliss in helping other people and has no designs to dial back her giving. Barbara Cloth, known as the Lotto Holy Messenger, and her better half Rye offered a huge part of their £7.6 million lottery make to companions, family, and different foundations. They supported ghetto children to see a pantomime and took care of movement costs for veterans to go to a gathering in Italy. These accounts show that while some lottery victors might decide to obliterate or offer their rewards, others track down satisfaction in utilizing their recently discovered abundance to have a beneficial outcome on the existences of others. Number 9. Losing the triumphant ticket. Martin and Kay Toe got an opportunity that could only be described as epic when they won an enormous $5 million big stake in the lottery. However, their satisfaction immediately transformed into a horrible when they understood they had lost the triumphant ticket. Martin never truly thought he'd walk away with when he purchased the sweepstakes ticket, in the same way as other people who took a shot. Yet when they saw an allure on television for the big stake champ to approach, they understood their numbers coordinated. There was only one issue. They couldn't track down the ticket, and it had been a half year since they got it. In spite of demonstrating with PC records that they were the legitimate victors, Camelot, the lottery coordinator, would not pay them. This choice created a public commotion in 2001 and ignited banters about corporate eagerness versus a straightforward lost ticket. Conspicuous figures like Sir Richard Branson and Tony Blair upheld the children, yet Camelot adhered to its guidelines, saying that they couldn't twist for popular assessment or government pressure. Martin couldn't relinquish the large numbers he accepted. He merited his fixation prompted the breakdown of his marriage, and his emotional well-being endured. He sent off numerous fights in court and engaged with a fervent gathering that he presently sees as destructive. Now, years after the fact, Martin has found joy again considering his experience. He's appreciative. He didn't get the $5 million he recognizes the gigantic obligation that accompanies such a huge win and accepts it might have brought a greater number of issues than satisfaction. In spite of not getting the cash, Martin appears to be content he actually functions as a buying chief, takes care of his home loan, and appreciates basic delights like excursions in Cornwall, as opposed to lavish excursions to the Caribbean. Is understood that cash isn't so significant as society describes it. As Martin and KK's difficulty started when they saw a news release declaring an unclaimed lottery ticket in their space. They perceived the numbers as theirs, yet couldn't carve out the ticket and opportunity in spite of the difficulties. Martin presently sees a silver lining. He's investigating another profession as an essayist, and has tracked down joy with another sweetheart. Rather than harping on what might have been, he's appreciative for what he has. Martin and Kay's story fills in as an update that occasionally the straightforward things in life give the most pleasure. Number 8. Botch the open door. All started for Rachel Kennedy, a 19-year-old understudy at Brighton College, when her natural arrangement of numbers was suddenly drawn for the EuroMillions big stake back in February 2021. She was thrilled, accepting her karma had at last shown up. Rachel called the lottery hotline to really take a look at her success. However, she was informed there was no record of her purchasing a ticket. She and her accomplice Liam, who involved similar fortunate numbers for a very long time, were confounded. Their ticket didn't go through in light of the fact that Rachel's record needed more cash. Liam communicated his demolition, expressing that I was totally sorrowful when we heard the man on the telephone say we hadn't really purchased the pass to add salt to the injury. The Euro Millions bonanza they passed up had been turning over for 5 continuous draws before at long last being guaranteed by a fortunate champ in Switzerland. Quick forward to the present, and the approaching £7.5 million bonanza offers one more opportunity for confident players to take a shot at tickets for the draw shutting down at 7:30 p.m. on Saturday, and the number set to be drawn at 8 p.m. Expectation is running high. Rachel and Liam's tale fills in as an impactful update for lottery devotees to guarantee their records are supported and their tickets are bought on time. Passing up a groundbreaking big stake because of a straightforward oversight is a sobering reality that no player needs to confront. Keep in mind, twofold checking your lottery ticket could be the contrast among misfortune and a groundbreaking success. Try not to pass up your opportunity to be the following fortunate victor. Number 7. The one who got sued, Amaro Lopez, who once worked close by the FIV men at Berto Development, has been told by the court to pay every one of them a powerful amount of $4 million. Eric Khan, the legal counselor addressing the gathering, communicated fulfillment with the decision, expressing that the jury trusted their clients and justified their cases. Nonetheless, he noticed that the monstrosity of their recently discovered abundance presently couldn't seem to completely enroll with the laborers in light of the decision. Lopez communicated disappointment, asserting that his previous associates had unjustifiably taken what legitimately had a place with him. That's what he contended, in spite of the fact that they had all in all played the lottery once per week for quite some time. The triumphant ticket was one he had bought autonomously. Lopez, matured 52, underscored that he'd involved his numbers for the ticket, a training he'd embraced since scoring $40 in a Canadian sweepstakes. The New Jersey local traded out the triumphant ticket in November 2009 is short in practically no time prior to disappearing from non-appearance from work because of an implied foot a medical procedure. Anyway, he didn't go through the medical procedure as expected and continued to petition for joblessness benefits. It was only after Walk 2010 that he uncovered his lottery win to his previous partners. Doubts emerged when one individual from the gathering, a Candido Silva Jr., led a web-based check of the triumphant numbers, uncovering that the date of Lopez's success corresponded with the date when the men had aggregate bought tickets, each contributing $2. This disclosure provoked the organization to scrutinize the legitimacy of Lopez's case. Well, the laborers have communicated no prompt expectations of find employment elsewhere at Berto Development. As per their legal advisor, Mr. KH, he portrays them as tenacious and diligent people who stay focused on their work. Conversely, Lopez's lawyer, Michael Mazzacca, communicated a failure with the court's choice, contending that Lopez had genuinely walked away with that sweepstakes with his own assets and picked numbers when gotten some information about their arrangements for their freshly discovered abundance. One of the petitioners, Mr. Silva, referenced his aim to focus on his youngsters' schooling and pay off his home loan prior to praising with his co-champs in Portugal, their nation of beginning. Another inquirer, Carlos Fernandez, communicated his longing to buy a paramount present for his infant granddaughter. The New Jersey State Lottery gives rules on its site to players partaking in syndicates, encouraging them to record the names and telephone quantities, everything being equal. Particularly the individual buying ticket number 6, who nearly passed up $61 million. Paul Edge needed to just take it all in as his ex-Debbie, 54, left with the most recent Euro Millions bonanza. Paul, who hadn't seen Debbie in 30 years, has shared how he's been left with no decision except for to request help. Assuming that she needs, she can impart a portion of her rewards to me. I truly see the value in it, he said. Seeing Debbie on the news holding a check for £61 million was a shock for Paul. She appeared to be unique, yet I may as yet perceive her a piece. He said Paul and Debbie had a hurricane sentiment and got hitched in 1992. Be that as it may, their marriage didn't keep going long, and they split up inside half a month. Little did Paul had at least some idea that their detachment would cost him an incredible £61 million. Richard and Debbie Nuttall, both 54 and from Lancer, hit it big with a faltering 61 M700 and 8231 LB portion of the £123 million Euro Millions. Prize. Instead of going a little overboard on extravagance things, the NLEs picked unobtrusive buys like another bed, a hairdryer, and additional land for their canine. They had considered scaling back their home to a cabin since their kids had grown up, however hadn't placed their home available yet. The couple, who commended their 30th wedding commemoration in Ventura, chose to indulge themselves with another bat worth 12,200 LB, an extravagant hairdryer, and new golf clubs. Richard even purchased another BMW X5 for $128,000, picked for its open boot to oblige his golf clubs in spite of their recently discovered fortune. The Nuttles haven't begun searching for another home yet. Richard referenced that they've been thinking about scaling back to a cabin, yet presently they've been investigating different choices, including flying by personal luxury plane to Portugal. Richard plans to play more golf both in the UK and abroad and needs a golf swing room in their new house. Debbie dreams of a bigger nursery, and more land for their canine Monty. 2 or 3 has been utilizing a similar lottery numbers picked by Debbie in a fantasy for a very long time, yet hadn't won anything. It was just when they changed to Fortunate Plunge that they hit it big. At first, they thought they'd won £260 and didn't respect it. Notwithstanding, a subsequent email encouraged them to check once more, uncovering they'd prevailed upon $61 million. Richard shared their story at the Glove Lobby Lodging in Clio, communicating his doubt at their abrupt fortune. The triumphant numbers for the Euro Millions draw on Tuesday, January 30th, were 5, 10, 19, 27, 30, with fortunate stars 5 and 6. The Bonanza prize was 123 M416, 462 LBS, divided among 2 ticket holders in the UK and Spain. Suzanne Mullins from Virginia won a $4.2 million big stake playing the state lottery. Rather than getting everything forthright, she selected a yearly installment spread north of 20 years. This choice left her with around $47 million every year after expenses to be divided among herself, her significant other, and their little girl. Suzanne found her lottery win when her little girl heard on the radio that the triumphant ticket had been bought at a 11 store in Southwest Reno. Suzanne, who's offbeat due to being brought into the world on Friday, the 13th, solely purchased lottery tickets at 11 stores. At the point when she affirmed the numbers matched those on the triumphant ticket, she was elated regardless of the success. Suzanne and her family didn't promptly enjoy lavish enjoying with her significant other. Tommy communicated his affection for his work and selected not to early resign. Suzanne referenced she needed to supplant her vehicle, however gave no indications of going on a spending binge. Suzanne utilized $1 million of her rewards to settle her uninsured child in regulations clinical obligations, soon after winning the big stake in 1993. Nonetheless, monetary difficulties started to emerge when she looked for a $200,000 credit in 1998, involving future lottery installments as guarantee until 2006. Sadly, the organization from which Suzanne looked for the credit was explicitly gotten up in a position to help lottery champs needing prompt money by proposing to purchase their company, from which Suzanne looked for. The advance was explicitly positioned to help lottery victors needing quick money by proposing to purchase their future installments at a limited rate. Suzanne consented to this course of action, with the credit to be reimbursed utilizing her yearly lottery portions. Things took a turn in 2000s, when the standards in regards to big stake payouts changed, permitting champs to request a singular amount rather than yearly installments. Suzanne chose to exploit this new choice, and traded her excess yearly installments for a one-time frame cash aggregate. Be that as it may, Suzanne neglected to keep making reimbursements to the advance organization as concurred, which prompted lawful activity against her. The organization won a $154,000 repayment in 2004 in spite of Suzanne having no resources for cover the obligation. A South Carolina man had a narrow escape when he nearly discarded his thought process was a terrible scratch-off ticket. Much to his dismay, that ticket was going to transform him. The man from Georgetown coincidentally found the $2 Cash Club ticket. While cleaning his vehicle, at first he thought it was a flop and considered throwing it in the junk. Notwithstanding, something made him require another once-over. Shockingly and enchant, he found that he'd won the top award of $30,000. The acknowledgement amazed him, as he could scarcely come to grips with his incredible good fortune. Beneficial thing I twofold actually look at it. He told lottery authorities that triumphant the top award was very difficult as the situation was anything but favorable for him at one out of 640,000. With only one top award left in the Money Club game, his success was genuinely noteworthy. Georgetown, where the fortunate Victor dwells, is found roughly 40 miles southwest of Myrtle Oceanside. While many appreciate betting and messing around of chance capably, it's fundamental to perceive that for certain people, betting can turn into a habit that can possibly hurt lives and families. A Michigan man had an astounding score while a horrible sweepstakes ticket landed him a major award of $100. 0,000, in spite of not winning the extravagant game before he lucked out through the Michigan Lottery additional opportunity drawings, liking to remain mysterious. The man from Wayne District shared his story. He used to play the $6 million Bonanza game frequently, however hadn't won. Whenever he found out about the additional opportunity, he chose to check it out. Players can examine their non-scoring tickets utilizing the sweepstakes versatile application. Each non-winning ticket for the $6 million Zillion Bonanza game gets an opportunity to win an award from $500 to $100. 0,000. In a fortunate turn of events, the 43Y to elderly person was haphazardly picked in a drawing hung on April 27, 2023. At first, he thought the email he got about his $100,000 prize was a joke, yet, in the wake of affirming with the lottery, he understood it was genuine. "I was stunned," he expressed, even subsequent to guaranteeing his award. It actually didn't feel genuine to him. Winning actually doesn't appear to be genuine. And I don't think it'll soak in that frame of mind, while he said regardless of the unexpected, he intends to save his rewards for the future. His story shows that even a terrible ticket can prompt a major win and change somebody's life. Number 2, from $10 million to 0. Sharon Tossi from Hamilton, Ontario, traded out her $10.5 million rewards from the Lotto Very 7 when she was 35 years of age. Coming from a foundation of moving between covers, her success appeared to be a little glimpse of heaven. Energized by her newly discovered abundance, Icy enjoyed sumptuous spending binges, including planner shopping trips, extravagance vehicles, and lavish getaways. She additionally liberally imparted her abundance to loved ones. In any case, as she spent openly, Icy neglected to really deal with her funds. At last, she ended up with only $750,000 remaining, which she understood was a reminder to get control over her spending. Basie depends on her regularly scheduled check to cover lease and backing her 6 youngsters. She fills in as an individual help laborer and resided in a leased house in Midtown Hamilton with her significant other and kids prior to scoring that sweepstakes. Basie lived in an unobtrusive loft with her 3 youngsters and battled to make ends meet. Notwithstanding, her success made a huge difference. She purchased a house, wedded her significant other Vinny, and had 3 additional kids. With her recently discovered abundance, Icy went on luxurious occasions, purchased different vehicles, and gave huge amounts of cash to relatives. She additionally put resources into properties to lease at reasonable rates and aided companions out of luck. Nonetheless, the rich spending negatively affected Tassa's funds. Her better half's lawful difficulties further stressed their funds, prompting the deficiency of their home and regular moves. Notwithstanding the difficulties, Tassie and her better half keep up with that. They're more joyful now, carrying on with a more humble way of life. They accentuate the significance of difficult work and mindful cash the executives to their youngsters, expecting to impart similar qualities they learned through their encounters. Trozzi has put the excess cash in trust assets for her youngsters, guaranteeing they have a safe future when they turn 26. Number 1. The malicious clothing machine. A lady who says she purchased the triumphant ticket in a 26 million California lottery draw has uncovered that she coincidentally obliterated it in the washing machine. The triumphant Super Lotto, in addition to ticket, was sold at an odds and ends shop in Norwalk, a suburb of Los Angeles. The lady, whose personality has not been uncovered, was purportedly seen on CCTV buying a ticket at the store around that time. Esperanza Hernandez, a staff part at the Norwalk store, let California's Whittier Day-to-Day News know that a lady visited the store professing to be the award-winning ticket holder. She made sense of that. She lost the ticket and dreaded it had coincidentally gone through the wash with her garments. Kathy Johnston, a representative for the California Lottery, expressed that the store film alone wouldn't be sufficient to confirm the lady's case. She accentuated the requirement for convincing significant confirmation that the lady claimed the ticket. Be that as it may, The store's video film has been imparted to lottery authorities, and the case is, as of now, under additional examination. In the event that no checked victor approaches, the award cash will be circulated among California's government-funded schools according to the lottery's standard technique. The retailer that sold the triumphant ticket has previously gotten $130,000. As per the lottery coordinators, the triumphant numbers for the unclaimed attract November were 23, 36, 12, 31, 13, with a Uber number of 10. The news detailed that it's profoundly surprising for winning ticket holders in the California lottery not to approach. This occurrence is only one of numerous where people have professed to have bought winning tickets yet couldn't deliver them through 10 snapshots of imprudence and incident. We've seen how dreams can get away in a matter of moments. Buy into Mogul Post for more stories of unforeseen, exciting bends in the road. Thanks for watching Gossip Now.